Okay, Wednesday the 23rd of July, I'm going to harvest this Elsa onion for Pete Trenouth's Great Onion Growing Challenge 2024-2025. So I measured it a couple of days ago and it was 19 inches, and I measured it today and it's still 19 inches, so I think it stopped growing. The leaves are absolutely dreadful, so I'm pulling stumps on it. It's just like loads of rain at the moment and not much sunshine, so I'll probably be better off taking it somewhere under cover. What I am going to do first of all, this is from the hugelkultur mound, so I am going to use the fork to lift it to see what the soil looks like underneath it. So I'm very interested in what the soil looks like. So I sowed these on the 1st of January and I had 60 seeds, but I spilt some. They just went everywhere, so I don't know how many I actually planted. So the first night, on the 1st of January, I knew it was raining, so I left it outdoors, and that's how it mainly got watered. It got watered by rain that way, just by leaving it out in the rain. And then I brought the seeds indoors on the 2nd of January. I had them in a little pot, and then about 2 or 3 weeks later, I put them all together in one lump into a bigger pot, because they'd already grown sort of 3 or 4 inches of root. So you could see them at the bottom, so I thought, well, I'd give them more room for their roots. But what happened, so after 5 weeks, that's when I took them out of that pot, and the roots hadn't really grown anymore. So I don't know whether I'd done anything wrong. I just had things in an ordinary compost, shop-bought compost, and mixed with perlite, and that was it. So they were growing under grow lights. I want to talk a bit about grow lights. So first of all, lots of these grow lights, they're meant, and lots of the knowledge we have about growing things indoors comes from cannabis. So you can tell sort of here on this kind of light where it says veg and bloom, this comes from cannabis growing. So veg is when you're concentrating on growing the green leaves, and bloom is when you want them to flower. Now I ended up just having them both switched on. So that comes from cannabis. Somebody else in the competition is using fertiliser Canna A and Canna B. So what do you think Canna is short for? So that compost mixture or fertiliser, that's aimed at cannabis plants as well, even though someone's trying it out on onions. And the other thing is, I want to talk about grow lights, is onions are just they're like a grass leaf, aren't they? They're just very thin and standing upright. Now if you have the light above it, there's a very little surface area for it to photosynthesize with. So say you've got the light above it, that I think would help incline the onion plant for the leaves of it to flop over, because it's a way of them to access the light. Another thing I know about, or that I've learned about flopping over this year, is that the element that helps build the cell walls quite strong is silicon, and apparently the best way of delivering silicon is silica. So I might be using some kind of sand next year in the growing medium to try and grow my onions to make them make the leaf structurally stronger. And I'd also going to try and having the grow lights come from the side rather than from the top. So I think that's all I've got to say about both cannabis and grow lights, because I'm not really an expert on either of them. So let's just go ahead and lift the onion and see what the soil's like. I think I came across some wood there. I've got logs underneath here. So the onions were growing, and there's probably more roots down there as well that I can see. So for our onions, we have to remove the dirt. And then trim the roots off. Right. Should really need to wash its bottom. I should have got a jug of water with me or something. Right, and normally with show onions, apparently you don't have any skins which aren't full or complete. So we'll like pretend this is like a proper competition. There's another one. And then there's another layer we're taking off here. Right, so I think Pete Trenouth did say that we keep the leaves on, but I don't know. Right, I'm not quite sure how sound this onion is or how diseased or rotten it is. Well, I suppose we'll find out in a few weeks' time. I now need to move the camera so that we can weigh this. So I'm just going to use this as a base. Don't know if you can see it or not. It's fairly flat. Here's the kitchen scales that I bought. Upside down. So this is the first time I've used them. So I think I can be forgiven for having it upside down. Right, so it's on 0 grams. I'll re-weigh this indoors in the house, in the kitchen later on, to see whether having a more sounder surface better. So it's almost 1.1 kilograms. Well, it's getting lighter. It's getting more and more. Stop. He's going down and down and down. This is funny. Well, I was going to say it's finally come to a stop. It's just amusing. Oh, wait a minute. So I've just moved that onion a little bit and I've increased the weight of it by 200 grams. Right. So apparently we're now 1.2 kilograms. Right. So we'll see whether we can change that into old money. Oh, mode. That's the button I want. Oh, bollocks. Okay, so we're now on pounds and ounces. So it's 2 pounds and 3 ounces. Right. So I was expecting this to be more like 3 pounds. Okay, so that's a very rough idea of what it is. So 2 pounds, 2 ounces. Okay. Well, I was never going to win anyway, but because the main reason there was 2 reasons I entered this competition. One was I wanted to see how good an onion grown in the hugelkultur mound would do compared to the way that other people grow them. And the other was frankly to try and get some more subscribers actually. So I forgot to mention these onions, they got planted after 5 weeks. I tried using the double cup method, but I didn't have enough of a gap between the 2 cups, and I think it was like a bit of a vacuum, so that helped the mold to develop. And I put it into the polytunnel. I put all my onions into the polytunnel. This was February, where it was like 8 Celsius all the time, but it was like grey. There was no sun at all in February, and they didn't like it. So it was so bad that I actually took them out of the polytunnel and planted them in the hugelkultur mound on the 21st of February. So they've been out here since the 21st of February. And when I filmed that video, I did actually name it Planting Out Dead Onions, because they weren't very healthy at all. So, but somehow I've fluked one that's developed into a reasonable size. Okay, so I'll have another go next year, I suppose.